Broadcasting from the ARN Racing Studios in Southern California, a Turn for Media company, ARN Los Angeles. This is ARN, the American Racing Network, the Motorsports Authority. Now,
drivers, start your engine!
You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
Well, there goes the neighborhood.
You name it, we got it. NASCAR.
He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it. Holy cow!
IndyCar.
Will Power is an IndyCar champion.
Thank you for calling.
Drag racing.
Jason line red lights and gives it away as Erica Stevens becomes the 17th champion in the history of funny car with a hammer down throw ride.
Supercross.
Ken rocks it to the finish line. He wins the season opener here at Angel Stadium.
And so much more. So get ready. You're shifting gears on ARN with Alan Bailey.
That is a fact, my friends. Welcome on in. You're shifting gears right here on ARN. I'm Alan Bailey. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at @TheAlanBailey. You can also use the hashtag ARNRace in order to get in on this conversation. Very busy show here on a Friday, February 6, 2015. Guess what? We've got a lot of people that we're going to be on the program today. A lot of drag racers, actually. Courtney Force, Brittany Force, John Force, Robert Hight, the Force team going to be on the program today, as well as Ron Capps and Antron Brown going to be making appearances on the program today. You're going to want to stick around for that. Lots of stuff to talk about, lots of stuff to get to on the program today. You're not going to want to miss it. And yes, you can call us here in the studio, 720-600-RACE. That is 720-600-7223. Standard messaging rates do apply on that. And yes, you can text into that number as well if you want to send a text. Lots of stuff to talk about. In the NASCAR world, the Sprint Unlimited format has been formally announced, and is it confusing? Kinda. It's not really a disappointment, I would say, because it's a preseason race. So I don't want to sit here and say, well, it doesn't really matter. Because it does. It helps to set up your momentum and how everything just plays out for your entire season. But basically, it's a 75-lap race at the Daytona International Speedway 1 week from tomorrow. Going to be split into two segments with a competition caution happening on lap 25. So expect 25 laps and then 50 laps, assuming we get 50 laps in. When I say that, I think we're going to get a few more cautions in that one because typically there is cautions running amok in this race. We know that a handful of drivers will not be racing in this one, obviously. It is a limited field. It's a field of 25 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series drivers that include Coors Light pole winners as well as former NASCAR Sprint Unlimited race winners and Daytona 500 pole winners who competed full-time in 2014, as well as all 16 Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup drivers. Now, here's what's tricky. The first 5 provisional spots for anybody who, let's say one of the 25 don't qualify, don't make the event, or don't attempt the event. The first 5 provisionals are Clint Bowyer, Paul Menard, Marcus Ambrose, who's not racing in the sport anymore, Casey Mears, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Now, here's what's interesting. We know that Casey Mears will join the 25-car field next weekend because a number of drivers are not going to be in the field. Brian Scott, Brian Vickers, and A.J. Allmendinger were each eligible for the event, but all have pulled out. Allmendinger and Scott just choose not to race it, which is fine. And Brian Vickers has a health issue going on. He cannot race until Las Vegas later this year, the 3rd race of the year. That allows Clint Bowyer, Paul Menard, and Casey Mears to join the field, and that has been confirmed both by team representatives out at Germain Racing as well as NASCAR. So Bowyer, Menard, and Mears going to be racing. A.J. Allmendinger, Brian Vickers, and Brian Scott see you next year, unfortunately. So we will get into that a little bit later on. Also, big changes in the truck series, actually, for the Eldora truck race later this summer. Basically, Tony Stewart went on Sirius XM NASCAR radio earlier this week and confirmed that instead of 20 trucks being locked into the main event, only 5 trucks will be locked into the main event when they actually go to race down there for the 30-car field. So everything's going to get a whole lot more interesting in that series. We will talk about that. Also, Supercross down in San Diego this weekend. Justin Barcia actually went down in a practice crash yesterday, and this morning they checked with the team manager, Jeremy Abbott, who confirmed the report, but it appears that nothing is broken at this time, and they're not 100% sure if Justin will be racing this weekend out in San Diego for the 6th round of the Monster Energy Supercross. We called their team not too long ago, and they're still unaware here as of 2:30 p.m. Pacific local time. They're still unsure if he's going to be racing down in San Diego, so we'll get you an update as soon as we can on him, but right now it's very much up in the air, so we'll keep on that story. In IndyCar, somewhat of an interesting story that broke earlier this week. We know that there was going to be a race down in Brazil for the first time in quite a number of years, but now that race has been canceled. Actually, believe it or not, not only canceled by not canceled by IndyCar, I should say, but canceled by local race officials, which is very odd. And we found out earlier this week that IndyCar not only made the announcement, but they also announced that they will not fill the void in the 2015 schedule because of the cancellation of the race in Brasilia, Brazil. Now, IndyCar has explored several options in order to find a replacement following the cancellation of the March 8th race in Brasilia, but due to the lack of time for a suitable place planning and the number of options limited, the series has conducted that they will not be replacing that event. The first race of the year will be at St. Petersburg on March 29th through the 28th. That's the season opener. And other than that, that's what's going to happen. We're just a race short in IndyCar in 2015, unfortunately. And it takes time to plan a race. It's not just, hey, go ahead and get some cold ones on in the fridge. Go ahead and put some hot food on the grill. We're coming out there and we're going to bring all of our fans out there. No, you have to hire people. You have to hire venues. You have to get your track ready. You need to sell tickets. You need to do proper advertisement for these races. People don't just drop a dime and then go race somewhere. Usually it's a lengthy process in order to get a racetrack ready to race, and that's something that definitely IndyCar thought about with the limited time available to get on the track for that for what would have been a replacement for that that early March date. So you can't really blame them for not being able to find a March 8th race for that race down in Brazil. Plus, I think it's better for the sport. It stinks that they won't be able to take the series down to Brazil this year. It really does. But from a team standpoint, it does save a lot of money, for the fans that want to try to travel down there. That's a bit of a lengthy one as well. Very odd because the track reportedly had sold out close to 65-70% of the tickets available for that race. So not quite sure what the reasoning behind that one was, but overall, it is what it is, unfortunately, and that's all you can really say at this time. Like I said, we got a very busy program coming at you. Courtney Force, Brittany Force, John Force, Robert Hight, all going to be on the program today, as well as Ron Capps and Antron Brown. We will talk about everything that's going on with Justin Barcia. Again, if you're just joining us, unsure at this time if he's actually going to be racing this weekend because of some unfortunate incident that he had in a practice track incident earlier this week. So we will get you updated on that. But when we return, Courtney Force is going to be joining us right here on Shifting Gears on the American Racing Network.
Sick of bad race coverage or none at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and it wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Apollo Aesthetics. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to get a quote for your new website today. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
We're out here getting ready for Winter Nationals in 2015. Courtney Force, new season, new car, new everything almost.
Yeah, it's definitely a fresh start with John Force Racing. We're excited. We've got new sponsors on board this year with Chevy and Lucas Oil and Peak Antifreeze. But definitely, obviously, you see Traxxas on the side of my car, and with some new colors. It's definitely going to be an exciting paint scheme. I'm excited. You know, they got a good design going on over there, and I'm just excited to run it. It's definitely something unique and fresh for our team, and I'm just looking forward to get back in this race car. I can't wait to get the season underway.
Man, walking through the pits, it doesn't do it justice. I was walking through the pits, I had to double take it. It was like, wait, what? It's very colorful.
It is very colorful. Definitely will catch your eye. You know, some fans, I think, have an opinion one way or the other. I was, you know, obviously a little unsure at first, and then once I got in it, I mean, it's a fast flying car. That helps too. But you know what? It's definitely a unique paint scheme. I'm excited to mix it up a little bit and just try something new over here. It's definitely fun for the season.
Well, I mean, you look at everything that's gone on at John Force Racing. You guys have had major changes, not only new sponsors, new car, new everything almost, but now that the season is starting and now that we're here in Pomona, does it seem like, okay, now the circus is done, let's get to the other circus now?
Yes, definitely. I think this is actually the time where I almost feel like we kind of get a second to calm down, because I think we've got so many great things locked in over here with our teams. So many exciting news, and we're just excited to get out and get back on the track where we belong. You know, I definitely think my dad's got a little bit of a sigh of relief, and I know that we all do, and we definitely owe it to all the new sponsors that came on board and the support of the fans, and it's just great to be back out here at the track and kind of getting you know, another chance out here. So it's exciting for all of us.
And speaking of excitement during the off season, kind of a big thing happened. You got engaged over the off season. How did he do it, as everybody keeps asking?
Oh gosh, yes, it was definitely a big shock. You know, it was exciting. We actually went on a trip over Thanksgiving. You know, we went to visit. His stepdad lives over in England, and we made a little mini vacation out of it. Got to go to England, Paris, and Venice. And he actually popped the question on a gondola ride down in Venice, because I'd always wanted to do that. So it was very special and romantic. And he didn't drop the ring in the water, so that was the good news.
Well, you know, I got engaged recently myself, and you go through the list. Oh, thank you. And you go through the list of, you know, telling your friends and family and all that. Who was the first person you called?
You know, it's funny. He actually recorded on a GoPro. I missed him clicking it record. We were taking pictures with it, and then he set it down in the corner and distracted me while he turned it on and then popped the question. So it's funny, because at the end of the tape, the first thing I ask him while I'm like crying my eyes out, I'm like, does my family know? Like, of course, the first thing I'm looking at, I'm like, please tell me you asked my father. But no, when we got back, of course, I called my parents first and couldn't get a hold of them. I couldn't get a hold of anybody until I finally called my sister Brittany and Ashley, and they finally answered. And I'm like, man, you guys knew this was happening, and why weren't you, like, right there next to the phone? But no, it was exciting. We were up till about 4 in the morning calling and FaceTiming all of our friends and family back home.
I can only imagine asking your dad for permission. That's got to be interesting for him.
Yeah, I think he said that he actually asked my mom's permission first, because my mom's better at keeping a secret, and he had to ask my dad right before we left for the trip, because he was too afraid he was going to spoil it. And I think he came close to it, because he kept dropping hints and telling me not to go run off and get married in Europe. But I'm used to that, the crazy things that my dad says. It doesn't surprise me, but I guess they went out to breakfast or lunch or something, and he asked him. I'm sure my dad I believe, asked for goats or something in exchange for my hand in marriage, something crazy like that, or camels. But yeah, no, I think it's all been in good fun because you know what, he's gotten to be part of this family a long time ago, and it's just been a lot of fun being with everybody.
Well, there you go. And looking at everything that happened last season, obviously the 100th win was a huge deal, not just for your team and you, but for women in the sport in general. And I mean, has that one hit you, or is it still kind of surreal almost?
I think it's definitely surreal. You know, like I said then, it really could have been any of the females in the sport that could have gotten the number 100. We were just lucky that we were able to kind of get that win at the right time. But, you know, I think for the entire sport of NHRA, I think that it was a huge season last year for females in NHRA drag racing. I mean, not only did we get the 100th win, I picked up, you know, another win in funny car and became the winningest in funny car as a female, which was definitely, you know, personal excitement for me. And then Erica Enders goes and wins the championship in pro stock. I mean, there are so many big things, so many monumental things that happened just for all the females in our sport that, you know, it definitely got people's heads turning and was exciting for all of us to be able to accomplish these things together.
I mean, you look at what the NHRA is doing, they're definitely allowing that platform for women, and they're really working to try to bring diversity into the series. And you could tell, but I mean, when you look up in the stands, how does it feel for you as a driver to see so many girls up in the stands wearing your gear and just screaming your name?
That's definitely still surreal for sure, but it's so exciting. I remember the first time I had a little girl come up to my ropes and she was in a Courtney Force t-shirt. I think I made her take a picture with me. I was so excited just to see the young fans that are coming in. You know, back when my dad was racing, I think there was a lot of I guess older and parents and, you know, a different type of crowd that came out here. Now you're seeing families and more kids coming out, and I think that's definitely exciting for our sport and for us drivers to be able to see so much diversity that comes out here, both in the fans and with the drivers. So, you know, we're excited. I love seeing, you know, little girls with my shirt on up in the stands. Definitely gives you a little motivation to get out there and win for them.
You look at what the NHRA is doing this season, baptism by nitro is the new thing this year, and that's something that I kind of always do myself, is try to tell people, hey, go check out the drag races, they're pretty cool. And I took a friend of mine to the drag races when you guys were out here for the finals, and he got to experience it, and seeing it through somebody else's eyes is kind of surreal. And this is just, you kind of, because we're in it, you kind of don't realize it, but drag racing, it's kind of amazing.
It is, definitely. It's very intense, and you know, it's something that we try to show through on a TV screen, but you know, you really can't explain it until someone comes and sees it in person. Whether you're up at the starting line or down at the finish line, no matter what, you're going to get the adrenaline rush. The great thing about here is every ticket's a pit pass, so they can come into, you know, over to the pit area, stand behind the ropes, and watch these guys tear apart a motor, rebuild it, and then stand behind it while the drivers warm up these cars, and you get to take in all the nitro. And no matter what, I think the biggest baptism by nitro is standing behind the car after a warm-up and just seeing if you can make yourself not cry. I think that's, you know, the most intense thing out here. I mean, it really takes all of your senses out here, and I think that's the cool thing about our sport. It's definitely an adrenaline rush, and these cars are going over 300 miles an hour in just 4 seconds. So you definitely get to see a lot, feel a lot, and you can smell it for sure.
Well, check her out this weekend out at the Winter Nationals here in Pomona. Thank you so much. Good luck out there. We'll see you in 2015.
Thank you so much.
That is Courtney Force right there, right here on the American Racing Network. Got a chance to catch up with her the other day out at Media Day, getting ready for Winter Nationals this weekend. And yes, they're out on track right now. It's Friday. It's about 2:20-ish local time here in Southern California. And right now, I'll tell you that Chad had atop the speed charts right there for qualifying in funny car. John Force second. And if you're wondering, Chad ran a 4.06 at 309 miles per hour. Del Worsham third. Right now, also in funny car, Robert Hight fourth, Ron Capps fifth, Tom Wilkerson sixth, seventh, Cruz Pedregon, Tony Pedregon is eighth. Also Courtney Force right there. We just spoke with her at ninth on the speed charts, with Gary Delsham 10th right now on the speed charts. Looking at pro stock very quickly, we have Roger Bogon, who's atop the speed charts with a 6.53 at 212.26 miles per hour. Also Chris McGaugh second right now, and Jason Line third in Pro Stocks right now as well. We'll update you as we get information from the track, but right now, want to play you something. I got a chance to talk with Courtney's sister Brittany, actually, about everything that's going on with her and her search of sponsorship for the 2015 season as well.
Brittany, looking at everything that's going on in the offseason, crazy offseason, now that the craziness is done, it's time to get from one circus to the next?
Now it gets really crazy now that the season's starting. We kick off here in Pomona this weekend. You got to come check it out. Every ticket's a pit pass, and you know, it's NHRA drag racing. It doesn't get any better than that. It's loud, it's fun, and I can't wait just to get the season rolling and get started. I can't wait to get in my car and get it down the track.
And looking at everything that's happened, I mean, sponsor shakeups, everything that's gone on at John Force Racing, you guys are still looking for sponsors heading into 15.
Yes, we still are. I actually don't have, coming into Pomona, I don't have a primary sponsor, but there's something that I'm really excited about. We're working with. We couldn't get it done by this weekend, but keeping my fingers crossed that it'll go through and, you know, have a new sponsor on my car in a few races.
Well, we'll see what we can see, but, you know, everything that's happened, one of the craziest things on top of everything, whether it's the engine or the manufacturer changes, rather, your sponsorship changes, personnel changes at John Force Racing, one of the craziest things that have changed is your sister got engaged.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're definitely, there's been a lot of change over in the Force pits, you know, everything from crew chiefs to teams to sponsors, but Courtney has a ring on her finger now. I'm very excited for her. I think they're still working on the date. I think it'll be the end of next year, but it's going to be an exciting year.
She was kind of telling us about how it happened and how she got engaged, and you guys were kind of clued into it before she was.
Oh yeah, we knew about it. I was talking to Graham actually the morning of. He was calling me, you know, asking for advice and tips, and I gave him a few pointers, so it worked out.
Did you see the GoPro video? She said that he snuck a GoPro and turned a GoPro on. Did you see the video?
Yep, I saw the video. It's really cute, and one of the first things she says after she says yes is, "Does my dad know? Did you tell my parents? Does my family know?" She was concerned about if we were even clued in on any of it.
The thing that I talked to your dad about it, and the thing that kind of cracked me up is he did the right thing, the traditional thing, where you ask the father and the family. But the thing that kind of cracked me up is he said, "Well, what? It's not my decision."
Yeah, I mean, my dad can be a little intimidating, so you know, it takes a lot for someone like Graham to come in and, you know, have to ask that. I am sure it's pretty nerve-wracking, but yeah, it's traditional, and I think, you know, my family obviously respected him for doing that, and I think it's normal. I think everybody does it, so it's a good thing.
Absolutely. And turning towards drag racing, we're seeing minor rule changes coming into 15, but overall, you kind of put that stuff on the side burner. You just go out there and you're just focused on getting your dragster down that track.
Yeah, right now, starting this weekend, it's just making 4 good runs. We have 4 qualifying runs. You know, the first one, you're trying to get tuned in and figure your car out, you know, the track, the conditions. And after that, you only get 3 more, and, you know, you're hoping you're getting in the show. So I'm excited to be out here and, like I said, just get the season started.
And you look at everything that NHRA is doing with just their new advertising thing with the baptism by nitro and everything. The thing that kind of it's just such the norm here in drag racing that is kind of overlooked now is the fact that we have a lot of women behind these cars, and not just in the cars but in the pits as well.
Absolutely. More women have come into the sport, you know, over, you know, the years, and I think that's something that's so awesome and it's great. It's I think a little bit easier for us in the sport of NHRA drag racing because we could build up. So you could start in junior dragsters as young as, you know, as a kid. I started at 16 in a Super Comp car and moved up to an A-Field dragster before, you know, jumping into the pro ranks and driving a top field car. So, you know, we have the opportunity to move up, and I think that's been very helpful. That's the way my sisters and I did it, and, you know, some of the other girls out here. But there's definitely, you know, I compete against one other girl, actually 2 this year, in top field. Courtney competes against Alexis DeJoria, and it's great to have girls out here, you know. Sometimes it is a male-dominated sport, but sometimes you need a girlfriend to talk to at the end of the day.
Do you guys kind of have like you guys just kind of hang out a little bit? I mean, we see you guys talking to each other at media things, but do you guys talk to one another and hang out away from the racetrack, or is it just like a friendly coworker? Hey, good to see you again.
Oh, we're always, you know, friendly at the track, and it's mostly Alexis, Courtney, and I. We hang out quite a bit. Courtney got to know her pretty well during her rookie season, and we try to make time and, you know, do a girls' night, invite all the girls, and, you know, get together and do something. So we enjoy that.
And, I mean, you look at everything that's going on with you in your career. You're entering, you know, the 2015 season. You haven't gotten that main win. What is it going to take for you to bust through and just get that main win?
you know, we have tough competition out here, so it's just making sure everyone is on spot doing their job perfectly. No mistakes. You can't make any mistakes in qualifying. Every run, everything we do counts, and that's just what it is. You have to make everything count, and we're going after our first win. That's my #1 goal going into the season, is to bring home, you know, our first top field win.
What's the biggest challenge that you need to work on and the team needs to work on in order for you to get that win?
Biggest challenge for me that I need to work on would have to be staying consistent as a driver, doing the same thing over and over, whether it's, you know, working on my leave times, reaction times off the starting line. They can't be jumping around because we can't, you know, it's too hard to work with something like that. Consistency is easier to work with, and that's where I need to really work on. Leave time, reaction time, it's tough. It's something that's not easy. You could practice all you want and have perfect lights on a practice tree, but when you get strapped into that car with helmet and gear and, you know, everything else going on, it's definitely a little more intense. So for me, it would be working on reaction time and staying consistent.
It's Brittany Force. You can check her out at the Winter Nationals out here in Pomona 2015. Good luck in 2015 and beyond. We'll see you out here in Pomona this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, and she was kind enough to talk to us the other day here at Media Day out in Southern California. And I want to remind you, if you want to check out the Circle K Winter Nationals this weekend at the Auto Club Dragway out there in Pomona, California, highly encourage you to head out this weekend. Baptism by Nitro is the new feel and the new social media tag for NHRA in 2015, and I absolutely love it. I got a chance to baptize a friend of mine actually here a few months ago in November, actually, during the finals, and there's nothing like it. Taking a first-timer out there, you really, truly get to experience drag racing from a different perspective, really, because when you're like, you know, us, and you've been in drag racing and in racing in general for so long, you've been going for years and years and years, you're used to everything, and simple things that used to get you excited don't really get you excited anymore, but simple things like the burnout. The burnout for me, it's when I first got into racing, or into drag racing rather, it was the coolest darn thing ever. And as you know, I've been watching drag racing through the years and things, it kind of loses its luster and loses its specialness because you've seen it so many times. But when you're experiencing it with somebody who's seeing it for the first time, their excitement is just so contagious. It's amazing. And if you want to check out the Circle K Winter Nationals, we encourage you to check out ESPN2 Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific for the qualifying session. It's underway right now at the out at the track. We'll be heading out there a little bit later today. Later, coming up on the program, I do want to remind you that, we heard from Courtney and Brittany right there. Their father, John, will be joining us in just a few minutes. Plus, Ron Capps will be joining us, as well as Robert Hight and, yes, Antron Brown as well. Lots and lots and lots of racing coming your way on ARN. What we'll do now is we'll go ahead and we will step aside. When we come back, John Forrest will be joining us to talk about everything that's going on with him in 2015, and update us on how his season has been going, or how his off-season has been going, rather. Don't go anywhere. You're shifting gears right here on ARN.
Take ARN anywhere. Download your favorite ARN programs on iTunes. Keyword search ARN and listen online at arnrace.com.
What is one NASCAR Unite's wristband capable of doing? It can inspire a child to go farther in school. It can construct a brand new playground for kids who've never had one. It can introduce a child with a serious illness to his or her favorite NASCAR driver.
I'm Tony Stewart, and I wear my band to Unite for Kids. Band together with me by logging on to www.nascar.com/unites to pledge your support.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and it wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Apollo Aesthetics. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to get a quote for your new website today. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
Out here getting ready for the Winter Nationals 2015 drag racing season kicking off. John Force, the man, the myth, the legend, almost. How are you?
It's Auto Club Raceway. They're one of our sponsors. It's exciting. I had a rough year. I had a rough off season. But we put it all back together. New sponsors coming on board like Lucas Oil. I have to have an oil manufacturer. Naturally, Chevrolet will be driving the Camaro SS's. Got a brand new one, white one in the parking lot. And Peak Antifreeze taking the lead on John Force Racing to give me a shot at another title. So naturally, Auto Club and Traxxas and Mac Tool. It was tough putting this thing back together with the financial losses I had, but we did it. And going to work.
I got to say, you look really good in the black and the blue, sir.
Yeah, thank you. We're leaving here this afternoon to go with Lucas out to his TV studios to shoot Mav TV with the Dave Despain show. And then the night we'll be in Ontario at Mark Christopher Chevrolet. We'll have some of our race cars there. One of our old Corvettes, or one of our old Monzas in the early Brute Force days. And, of course, we'll have one of our new funny cars, one of the new Camaros. So we're excited about it. We're working. And ain't like we didn't work all winter, but I get to drive my hot rod this weekend. And Courtney and Brittany are flying our top fuel car, run the quickest run in history, a 469 over in Phoenix testing. And it's not official, but, you know, we did it, so we know we can race. And the funny cars all ran in the threes, so we're pretty excited.
And that's got to do you just a little bit of good, just a little reassurance that, hey, even though all this talk's going on in the business side, the racing product, that one's just better, as good as it's ever been.
Well, I got a whole new race team. I got a bunch of young kids, and they got an older legend like me. And together we come out of the box swinging over there testing. And, of course, we got to see what we can do here at Pomona. But a young kid, John Schaefer, running my car. Of course, Mike Neff runs Robert Hight, but he overlooks all of the John Force teams. But I call them the replacements. You know what I mean? But they did pretty good in testing. I'm building young teams for the future, just like I built young drivers. My daughter Brittany, Courtney, my daughter Ashley, and Robert Hight. And to get ready for the next 25 years. And, of course, I'm going to be out here a long time. I'm under contract for 5 years, so I ain't going anywhere.
I'm not going to ask you when you're going to retire. I'm going to trust that you're going to tell us. But you look at it, the thing that shook the racing world, which I don't know why it did, Jeff Gordon retiring. What do you think of a kid in his 40s retiring?
Well, because you look at NASCAR and you compare it to drag racing, and Jeff Gordon is one of the great names. And NASCAR can't afford to lose him. It hurts to lose the big names. That's part of the reason I stay. NHRA got me here, made me who I am today, and I want to stay to help them grow. But you look at Jeff Gordon, he's not going to leave the sport. They drive around out there for 3 hours. We're only out there for, 3-4 seconds. And yeah, the days are 10-hour days, but my race car does the running for me. You know what I mean? I got to muscle it in there for a few seconds, but at the end of the day, it's a different world that we play in. Same as IndyCar and the others. So in this sport, you put me in a fire suit, I'm 20 years old again, and that race car will go out there and make me look like Superman. And that fire suit, let me tell you, it's where I want to be. I love it. My kids love it. I need to stay here to start building safety, winning championships. We know how to do that. We've got 18 of them. But safety, we need those Chevrolet engineers, to build us a race car. We got a lot of work to change our motor program, our aero program. We got a lot of work ahead of us. Jeff Gordon, he's not leaving NASCAR. Jeff Gordon's stepping up in another role as a team owner. He helped build that whole Hendricks deal. He'll be side by side with Hendricks. There's two great individuals, and the sport's not going to lose either one of them. And the sport's not going to love John Force.
No, we want you to stay here as long as you can. And, you know, looking at everything that's going on in NHRA, the tagline this year, Baptism by Nitro, and love it. And definitely the goal is to bring more fans out to the track, young fans out to the track.
Baptism, I like that. I'm a religious guy. I've been born again in the racing world because of sponsors like Peak and Lucas and Auto Club and Chevrolet joining us. I'm a real fortunate guy. And my energy's up. I'm ready to fight. Got a lot of work to do. Still got a lot of cars and trucks and trailers I got to get decaled. And then we got shows tonight. So, hey, if you're around town, or maybe this ad will come out later, but you'll be seeing us at Chevrolet dealers across the country.
And that's so cool. You guys are there, and you guys are going out, and you guys are meeting the fans and everything. But I have to ask, because we saw some of the backlash when you announced Chevy, what do you say to the fans that don't maybe necessarily like the fact that you're in a Chevy this year?
Yeah, but you mean the fans from the other manufacturer? Yeah. Well, I didn't leave. You know, the choice wasn't mine to leave, and that was a great company, Ford Motor Company. They chose to go a different direction, and they helped me with the things that I needed. They let me keep my demos till I got my new ones. They let me redo, the aero design to turn. The only thing we didn't have a new Chevrolet. It won't be out till 16. We had to take our old design and redesign it to fall under the NHRA specs. And let me tell you, that took us months. That was a quickie fix, and we got it done. It passed the NHRA specs for a Chevrolet Camaro, and so a lot of people helped. But now I'm with Chevrolet, but that's where I came from. Chevrolet's my roots. I won my first race in a Chevrolet. I won championships. And my first trophy in a Camaro. What can I say? Sometimes you got to make change. So to the fans, hey, you're out at them car dealers. If you're one of my Ford fans that was there, well, come see me. You can still come see me. If you were a fan of mine, come see me. Doesn't matter what I drive. And I stayed with an American-made car like I promised them. A lot of people thought where I was going to go. I went back to my roots with Chevrolet, and God bless them that they opened the door. And Campbell took a chance on an older guy and brought my kids and Robert Hight into this deal, Brittany and Courtney, and we're going to show them what we know how to drag race.
Well, it seems like John Force Racing is all about family, and for you to go back to your roots and take the family with you back to the roots, it just feels right from our standpoint, the ones that like the decision. So, in that sense, it's perfect.
I'm not blaming anybody about the decision of change. It is what it is. That's corporate. Why they do what they do. And I'm lucky another company, Chevrolet, took me on. Peak Antifreeze opened the door and signed me. You know what I mean? And they're leading the charge. And so I'm in business. I want to thank the good Lord and all the fans that supported me in NHRA. And I get to drag race. It's what I love to do. And we do it real good, John Force Racing. And we build safety along the way. So at the end of the day, I got a job. It's a new year with NHRA, and it starts this weekend here at Pomona.
And, I got a chance to catch up with Courtney and Brittany, and obviously the big off-season news with them, your daughter getting engaged. And I asked her, and she kind of stayed away from the subject, but did he come and approach you and ask permission, sir? I got to ask.
Ram Ray Hall, very nice kid. I knew his dad, Bobby. He was the Indy 500 winner in IndyCar. He come to me and said, I want to marry your daughter. I said, well, first of all, it's not my choice. You know what I'm saying? But I do respect. That's old school to do that. That's how I did it. And what I'm saying is I want her to have a great wedding, and she will. Mom will see to that. But I want her to focus on winning a championship. Traxxas pays big money to her, and wedding's all important. But this driving takes a lot of focus. And your media, you got to live it. And both those girls know it. They learned it from their sister, Ashley. And she's still a big name out here. Sells more T-shirts than me, and she ain't even racing. But she kept her license because Ashley runs our production company, TV production. But Ashley's licensed. She runs John Force Entertainment, but she's licensed to drive a funny car. Somebody gets hurt, she'll go into any one of these cars.
And
Keep these contracts good.
Exactly. And, looking at it, I mean, everything that's going on with the sponsors, everything that's going on, that's all the distraction for you. Am I right? And it feels like getting in that car come this weekend, that's going to be where you eat, live, and breathe.
Well, that's my whole life. That cockpit of that car is my office, and it's what I do best. And this isn't an age thing. It is me trying to prove I can drive till I'm 100. I can drive real good. As long as I can win, I'm going to stay in the seat. That's my word to you.
Well, we look forward to seeing you in the seat for this season and hopefully a few more down the road. Good luck in 15. We'll see you out here this weekend in Pomona.
Thank you.
And that was John Force, and you could just tell by his voice and just his energy. This was a very tough offseason for him. He went through hell and back this offseason, to tell you the truth. You could really hear it in his voice, and you could feel it in his mannerisms. He wasn't the happy-go-lucky, fun, hey, how are you kind of guy. He was kind of keeping to himself and just distracted. And truth be told, I was a little concerned for him because he seemed very off compared to his normal chipper self there. So he'll get back to normal, though. He had a very tough offseason looking for sponsorship, just trying to put everything together, getting ready for 2015. And honestly, you could tell some of it when we talked to him in the finals in November, and really that's carried over and just multiplied. And I think not being in the car hurt him a little, because the offseason is probably some of the hardest times for drivers as far as their energy and their happiness, let's just say, because you're away from the thing you love to do the most, and that's difficult. It's very difficult at times, and especially when you're with a team that's looking for sponsorship and trying to set things up for the future, that's very difficult. So John, once he gets a couple of runs in that funny car under his belt, he'll be back to his normal self. Mark my words, he'll be right there. Still to come on the program, we're going to talk to his teammate as well, Robert Hight, is going to be on the program, as well as Antron Brown. But right now, I got a chance to catch up with Ron Capps over the media day the other day out in Pomona. Got a chance to talk to him about what's coming up in 2015.
Out here with the former champ, Ron Capps. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's good to be back in Pomona.
No kidding. How was your off season?
Quick. I had reconstructive surgery on my my tricep, so I had to do a lot of rehab and a lot of sort of getting ready to get back in the race car. But it healed just in time. It's still a little sore, a little weak, but we're back here in Pomona, and I'm ready to go.
There you go. And looking at 2015, the new slogan that NHRA is using is baptism by nitro. And there seems to be always an effort to bring not only new fans to the racetrack, but younger fans. And you can definitely feel that in the garage area this year.
Yeah, and it's neat to find little ways to get people out. But all you got to do is get them to one of our races, because it's like anything else. I don't have to tell you, you've been here, but for anybody that hasn't been to one, it's the most unbelievable experience. And you can tell somebody over and over how cool it's going to be before they get here, and once they witness 10,000 horsepower on each car, 20,000 together, 40,000 if you go to Z-Max to our four-wide, but imagine all that ground-pounding, body-shaking. It sort of is a baptism, so I'm glad somebody in the marketing department's coming up with some pretty cool ideas.
I recently brought a friend of mine who doesn't have any interest in racing out to the track, and I mean, he said it best. He saw a pass on Friday night last time we were out here in Pomona, and he turned to me after the run and went, "Holy bleep, was it supposed to do that?" And that was, I think that just reaction kind of describes drag racing.
That's the baptism right there. I mean, you said it. It's there's nothing better than inviting somebody out for the first time, and kind of sometimes you feel like you're overemphasizing how cool it's going to be, but nothing overemphasizes how cool these are. I mean, you could tell, like, again, the coolest thing is having somebody sit in the grandstand, the cars do the burnout, and they think that's it. They don't realize it's a third of what they're about to go through, so it's great.
I had that exact same thing happen to me. We saw the burnout, and he went, "Well, that's awesome. Okay, let's go." No. That's the warm-up, pal. They're going to start here in a second. Give them a second.
Yeah, and it's, to be in the cars is awesome. To be up in the grandstands, I love being a fan and crawling up there and watching these cars.
The thing that I love the most about just drag racing and the way the NHRA does it is every ticket is a pit pass. And that, you hear that in other series, but they mean that literally. You can walk through the garage area and everything and really just see, well, where's my favorite driver? You can go up to them, you can see into the pits, you can walk up to you and talk to you and get an autograph, take pictures. That kind of interaction, incredible.
Yeah, and, I grew up on the sport. So going with my dad, I know the memories I have as a kid, so it's cool for me to sort of come out and have look out the not just the grandstands, but fire a car up and get out of the car and turn around and look at the ropes, and there's a guy out there with his son, and it takes memories back for me, because I remember taking those handout cards home when I was a kid and having them all over my wall and just idolizing these drivers. So sometimes you'll look out and you'll see a grandfather with his son and with the grandson, all three there, and that's, there's nothing like a day at the racetrack for a kid. I mean, especially the drag races.
No, it's one of the, it ranks your first time at the drag races with your family. I think that's one of the top 5 memories you keep with you. But I mean, you're back with Napa in 2015, and that's got to be exciting for you, just to have a continuing relationship with such a good sponsor.
Yeah, it's it was a dream sponsor to get in the first place, and now to, we're going on 8 years with Don Schumacher, and for me, where I was just talking to somebody else, they asked about the commercials, and I look forward to getting the scripts every year because I know they're going to be fun, it's going to be fresh, it's going to be funny, and just throughout the year to go do all these appearances I do. I mean, there's probably nobody that can match my all you do is watch my Twitter or my Facebook and see where I'm at. I mean, to see the enthusiasm all these Napa store owners have and the auto care centers, and they're so into it, and to know that they're that into it every week, and our hospitality is filled with their customers, and they're buying tickets for friends of customers. So it's great to have a sponsor that not only does that, but in their own way help and promote the sport by these commercials that are on national broadcast, So it's a great sponsor to get, but it's been a great sponsor to have this whole time, and we're looking to have a few more years added on here.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at some of those commercials. You going to be doing any with Chase Elliott from the NASCAR side?
We were scheduled last week to shoot some with Dale Jr. and him, but they ended up shooting me separate and them separate, and I think down the road here in a couple months we're going to do one together. So, especially Chase, he's going to be jumping in Jeff Gordon's car next year, so it's going to be a lot of fun to watch where he goes with his career. I've been blessed to be around some pretty cool people with Napa. Larry Zonka, I met him, who was one of my heroes. He was sponsored by him, and I look over at an autograph session, I'm next to Larry Zonka, the famous running back, and Michael Waltrip, of course, and just all the guys that have driven for Napa in the past. So it's definitely a sponsor that, as a kid, man, you thought, if I ever want to be sponsored by a company and a race car driver, what would be the best? And that was always one I thought about.
Absolutely, and you can check out Ron Capps in the races this weekend out at Pomona. It's the NHRA Winter Nationals. Good luck in 2015.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and you could tell right there, him and I, we talked a little off mic after that, and yeah, there's nothing like bringing somebody out to the drag strip and just checking out your first race in general. And I'm fortunate enough, I'm going to have some family out here this weekend for the Winter Nationals. And yeah, during Saturday, I'm going to be doing some broadcast stuff. And by the way, head on out to the John Force race pits on Saturday morning. I'm going to be out there with Gordon Lugnut Stewart checking out the John Force pits, and we're going to be doing a broadcast from out there on ARN. So highly encourage you to come out and check that out. But no, I'm going to be hanging out with some family and some friends afterwards on Sunday, and I'm going to be really enjoying it. I really am, and I love hanging out just in general at the dragway. Just put the microphone down for a minute and put the notepad down for a minute. Let me just enjoy it. That's what I truly love about racing, especially drag racing in general, is just enjoying it with friends and family. And I encourage you to do that this weekend at the NHRA Winter Nationals. Still to come on the program, Robert Hight going to be joining us in just a little bit, Antron Brown as well. Plus Justin Barr going to be out for San Diego, ? I don't know. We'll get you an update in a little bit. Plus, we're going to be talking about a number of things coming up this weekend with drag racing as well. So do yourself a favor. Do not go anywhere because, yes, we're going to step aside here, but when we return, Robert Hight going to be joining us from Pomona. Don't go anywhere. You're shifting gears right here on ARN.
I will cry my last tears.
Sick of bad race coverage or not at all from those other networks? Make ARN your one and only for all things motorsports. ARN, the Motorsports Authority.
Hey guys, it's Alan Bailey, and I wanted to tell you about when I first got started in broadcasting. Something that I tried to do was I tried to build my own website with one of these free website builders, and it was really bad. I ended up spending hours and hours working on this site, and I didn't get it the way I wanted. I hated the colors, I hated the options, I hated everything about it, but I needed a website. So reluctantly, I launched the website, and It wasn't good. I didn't get any business or any traction from it. The website was horrible. In order to put a .com on there, I had to pay all these huge fees and all these hidden fees. Once I got past all the fees, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars for just a very simple website. So I ended up taking it offline. Fast forward years later, I called Apollo Aesthetics. When I was getting ready to build my personal website, I decided to heck with it. I'll spend the money. And I didn't care how much it was, anticipating spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And then, when I got the quote from Apollo Aesthetics, boy was I shocked, because the price was super, super low. Monthly payments with a low down payment. I gotta tell you, I've had such a pleasant experience. I'm not building any other websites. I've learned my lesson. I'm going straight to Apollo Aesthetics so they can build it right and they can do everything that I need. Whether you're looking to build a website, design a logo, figure out your hosting, your emails, and social media accounts, Apollo Aesthetics can help you with all of these, including building a shop for you to sell your product online. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to request a quote. That's apolloaesthetics.com.
Shifting Gears on ARN is powered by Apollo Aesthetics. Log on to apolloaesthetics.com to get a quote for your new website today. You're shifting gears on ARN. Here's Alan Bailey.
Out here getting ready for the Winter Nationals, Robert Hight. A lot of changes going on at John Force Racing in 2015, and you're part of it.
Yeah, it is. We've been working hard, put a lot of new names on the side of these cars, and you know, it is a lot of hard work, but it's really rewarding when we can finally get out here on the racetrack, and now we can really show these new sponsors what we can do for them.
And looking at it, I mean, we know that you guys are still looking for a little help, but you guys got some really good sponsors. You got Chevy that came on board, you had Lucas Oil come on board, and Peak come on board. So what's the situation like? You guys are still looking for a few races?
Yeah, we are. Our dragster, we're still looking for a sponsor for it, but we do have a deal in the works, and we just, it's not official yet, it's not done yet, but I believe it's going to happen. It's just going to take another month or two, and then I think we're going to be kind of where we need to be, and we can really focus on winning and trying to race again. So it's been a long, hard road. We learned a lot of lessons here. You know, we had great partners in the past, and it's not that easy anymore. You know, racing's changed, the face of racing's changed, and so we've got to adapt and try to find new ways to get money, and we're doing that. So it's fun times ahead.
Well, absolutely, and it looks like you guys are doing your best right there, and from at least when we're sitting, it looks like you guys are putting together a really great program for 15 and beyond, but really when you look at it, it seems like just racing in general, it seems like there's kind of an issue, just money, it's there, but just there's not enough of it as there used to be.
Exactly, and I think it kind of goes back to the youth of our sport, you know, of our country. They're not as interested in racing as, you know, when I was a kid. I mean, I loved racing, couldn't wait to get to the track, see cars, work on cars, and you just don't have that anymore. So we got to work on getting the youth out. You know, my daughter's racing junior dragster. She's 10 years old, and we went out to a race at Fontana last weekend at, you know, Auto Club Dragway there, and I was amazed. There was like 60 junior dragsters out there, and so that's the future of our sport, and you know, we've got to keep at that. NHRA does a real good job of that, and we've got to get more youth involved. And I was pretty impressed with seeing all these kids out there racing last weekend.
The thing that impresses me is, with racing in general, is when you tend to take somebody to the track who's never been there, never had an interest in racing. It's like a disease almost. They get it, and they get that bug, that racing bug, and they just want to keep coming back.
Oh, without a doubt, and I believe NHRA drag racing is more so along with the lines what you just said than any of the other forms of motorsports, because the noise, you can feel, every one of your senses gets totally, you know, you can sense everything, smell, hear, feel. It's unbelievable, but you can also get behind the pits and get to the drivers, get an autograph, watch these guys turn these cars around in 50 minutes, and it's just a real fan-friendly sport. You're not going to go to a NASCAR race and meet Jimmy Johnson. You come to an NHRA event, you're going to meet John Force.
The thing is exactly what you just said right there. You go to NASCAR, you're going to see them from a fence, and they're going to be about 100 yards over there. And if you're yelling and screaming really loud, maybe they'll look at you and give you a wave, but they're coming right up to the ropes. You guys are shaking their hands, posing for pictures, taking selfies, this kind of stuff. And it's totally immersive, and it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, behind the scenes, all access pass. It's the greatest sport, and I love it. And I'll do whatever I can to continue to grow it. I'm very fortunate to have Auto Club behind me. We have a 5-year deal with them. It's very, very strong, and they're very focused on the future of our sport.
And you can definitely tell that. And looking at the racing side of things, you guys went through the change. Obviously, a manufacturer change is a big thing, but the bodies seem to be something that has to be a topic for you guys. It's not just snap your fingers and change a body out or change the engine out. It's a process.
It's a long process. The last body project we were involved in was 16, 17 months long, and that was really rushing it. So we've got another project ahead of us here with a new body, but we also have a great manufacturer with Chevrolet. Looking forward to working with them and their engineers, and can't wait to get out there and see what that new 16 Camaro is going to look like. Right now we first have a job to do, and that's win for Chevrolet and Lucas and everybody in 15.
And you said it right there. I mean, just switching over, I mean, it's got to be surreal. You guys have been in Ford so long. I mean, now that you're going to the Chevy side, are you having fun with the vehicles? I know you got to have a Chevy in your driveway at this point, right?
Oh, definitely. I'm driving a brand new Silverado, and I love it. You get used to things, and you get used to saying things, but everything is just perfect with the new truck and the new manufacturer and just the sponsorship. All the folks at Chevrolet are going to be out here this weekend. They're so pumped, and it's good to have them back in the funny car business.
Well, we're glad to see you back in 2015. Good luck, Robert Hight, right here on ARN. Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Hope to see you later in the year.
And he definitely will. I'm heading out to the track as soon as we're done here. Also got a chance to catch up with Antron Brown earlier this week, and I started off by asking him simply, how does it feel to be back for another season in 2015?
It feels good to be back. Every time you come out to the first race of the year, the Circle K Winter Nationals here at NHRA, it's just great to be back, man. Another race season is getting started this weekend. The weather's right, the track is right, and everybody's like pumped up, amped up, and we're looking forward to some fierce competition out here. We got a lot of new contenders out here like Dave Conley and Clay Milliken's back full time. So it's going to be interesting out here this year, and I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I'm pretty pumped up about it.
Now, does it feel like the field has kind of not tightened, but it seems like the competition is a lot more fierce?
Oh, absolutely. The competition's at an all-time high. When you win just a round of racing, you have done something out here. When you win a race, you've done something special. When you win a championship, it makes you a part of history, because now when you got these cars that are going over 330 miles an hour in 1,000 foot, and we're qualifying from 1st to 16th within a 10th of a second, which is like pro stock car, but at 330 miles an hour, that's some serious NHRA racing going on. So when you see that, you kind of look at yourself and say, man, what I got to do to win these days now, So you got to jump to that next level. You got to go back home. You got to work hard. Everybody's got to communicate, be on key, be on point, be poised, be ready for battle. And that's something that our team's really great at, to rebound and to step up when the level steps up. So we're feeling confident. We're feeling poised. And we haven't had no changes of crew members on the off season, so we're coming in where we left off at, and we left off on a really good level at the last race here last year.
No kidding. I mean, you guys came very close last year, especially at the last race here. What do you have to do that's different in order to kind of get over that hump and just do a little bit better?
I think the name of the game is to be more consistent. Our main focus is being consistent out the gate. The first run of every race is so crucial in qualifying, and that's what we're focused on, to get a great run the first round, because that pretty much sets your tone for the rest of the weekend, where you can build off that run. If you mess up the first run, you got to wait for the second run to get a run so you can build off of. So the quicker we can get that better run down, the more we can build off, and the more consistent we can be, and the more quicker and efficient we can be out through the whole weekend, and that's the goal.
No kidding. And looking at everything that's going on in drag racing, the new theme this year, the hashtag Baptism by Nitro, you like it?
I love it. I love it. It's something that our sport's been needing for a while, because any person you ever been out here that's never been, even a fan that's only watched it on TV, once you bring them here and you watch them in person, you cannot do anything but be a fan. And that's the craziest part about it is that that's what got me my first love when I was literally, I remember to this day, when I was 10 years old, I went to my first Summer Nationals at Englishtown, New Jersey, where I'm from, and my dad and uncle were going there years before I was born, but they finally brought me there because I understood what was going on finally, and I had my heroes and saw them in person, and that was the day that I went from Antron, the TV NHRA race fan, to being a diehard NHRA race fan, living and eating and sleeping it, and then before you know it, your dream comes true where you're actually a part of it, like mine is now.
No kidding. And I had the opportunity. I brought a friend out who'd never been to the drag races this last time we were out here, and it was the funniest thing ever. A couple of guys did the burnouts, and he thought, okay, that's great. And then he was ready to leave. It's like, no, pal, you got to wait. That's the warm-up.
Absolutely. And it shakes, rattles. I mean, descriptions cannot describe it because it hits every one of your senses on your body, your touch, your feel, your smell. You feel it. You hear it. And, I mean, it's the sport that I call it reaches out and touches you. And that's what it does, and that's what makes you fall in love with this sport because it's high energy and it's impact. And once you become a part of it, it's part of you for life.
No kidding. And, I mean, the goal is to bring out younger race fans, and the thing that I love about drag racing more than any other form of racing, and I love other forms, is the fact that you can actually walk up to the pits and you can actually talk to you guys, and we see you having in-depth conversations with fans and shaking hands and taking pictures and stuff like that. That's gotta, it's special for the fans obviously, but that's got to be special for you.
Well, it's definitely special for us when you have that kind of support and love from fans, the way they come up to you and they give you that love and that support, and that's what we call it. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here where I'm at today because I was able to walk up to Big Daddy's pits, Kenny Bernstein pits, the Snake Perdomes, Joe Amato's, Rob Beadle's pits, I mean, Bob Glitton's pits, Dave Schultz, John Myers, all these stars that I used to look up to, and I still do to this day, I was able to go out and reach and touch them. And it affected me to the rest of my life where I looked at them and say, I could see myself there one day. And here I am because I was able to see my dream and touch it when I was at a very young age.
There you go. Good luck in 2015. Baptism by Nitro is the theme. Hopefully we'll see you hosting a championship trophy at the end of the season.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on again, Alan.
Absolutely. That was great. Antron Brown right there. And honestly, get out to the track tonight. Get out to the track this weekend. I'm going to be doing a lot. Tonight, I'm going out to the track. I'm going to be hanging out. I'm not doing any work, literally. I'm just going to hang out and just relax. I cannot wait. Tomorrow, I'm going to the track to do a broadcast with Gordon Lugnut Stewart in the morning from the John Force Racing pit, so check that out tomorrow morning out at the Speedway in Pomona. Also, tomorrow night, I'm going to be heading out to Supercross in San Diego. Can't wait for that. Still no update on Justin Barr to see if he's going to be racing in San Diego. He went down earlier yesterday. And no broken bones reportedly, but still unsure if he's going to be racing this weekend. And yes, I'm going to be back out at the track on Sunday as well. So very busy weekend for me. I got a lot of racing to get to over the course of the next 72 hours or so, and I'm very, very excited about that. I encourage you to check out the Winter Nationals this weekend out in Pomona. But for now, everyone here on ARN, thanks you so much. Thank you to Courtney Force, Robert Hight, John Force, Brittany Force, Ron Capps, and Antron Brown for joining us on the program today. Seriously, everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, we'll see you same time Friday, next Friday, right here on Shifting Gears. We're at Fridays 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 2 p.m. Pacific right here on the American Racing Network. You can log on to arnrace.com in order to check out this and previous episodes of Shifting Gears, and also on iTunes as well. For everybody here at Shifting Gears and the American Racing Network, I'm Alan Bailey, and this weekend, I'll see you at the track.
You've been listening to the American Racing Network, a turn for media company. This is ARN, the Motorsports Authority.